Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching us from. Welcome to today's episode of SEDAT HR Digest. As usual, we bring your way topical issues that are relevant in the business and that helps you to impact your bottom line. And today we have an amazing topic, a topic that is really, really relevant. And if you want to be successful in your role as a leader, not only as an HR practitioner, you need the skill to be able to function very well. Today we are looking at harnessing emotional intelligence for effective HR management. Harnessing emotional intelligence for effective HR management. Now, emotional intelligence is one topic that helps you to, or a skill that helps you to understand your um, emotions and also be able to relate to people, understand people's emotions, and be able to relate to them well. But how is this really relevant in the field of HR? And as a leader, how is it relevant to you? How does it impact the business? How does it impact people around you? We would be diving deep into this topic, and we are bringing your way a very special guest today. But before I introduce my guest, please feel free send in your name and your location in the comment section. We'll read it out to duly acknowledge you. Also, share the link with your friends and loved ones. Remember, this is a platform where we learn, unlearn, and then relearn. Share the link with them. Let them join. Let's learn together. And we also want to make this session very interactive. And so, if you are here and you want to seek any clarification, you want to add on to the conversation, please feel free to do so. Last week, most participative audience or participant was from LinkedIn. I don't know where this time around is going to come from, but please let's make it interactive. Let's make it enjoyable. Let's learn from each other. And so please feel free and then drop in your question and then your anything clarification you want to see as and when the conversation goes on, we would pick it up and address it accordingly. Again, would like to remind you that SEDAT HR Digest is brought to us by SEDAT Consult, your number one trusted HR firm. You can rely on SEDAT Consult for all your HR and organizational needs, and trust me, we will be there to support you. We'll be there to sort you out. You can call us on 0244 629245 or 059-140-5555, and we will be there to respond to you and help you with whatever you need us to help you with. Anything HR, anything leadership, anything that has got to do with organization to help you impact your bottom line, we are here to help you. We are here to provide that solution for you. All right, before again I introduce my guests, let me talk about the HR conference, SEDAT HR conference that will be coming off on 27th of March 2025. And this time around, we are coming to Takrade. And so if you are living in and around Takrade, please get ready for us. The maiden edition of SEDAT HR conference in Takrade. We've had two editions in Kumasi, and this time around we are coming to Takrade. Please, please, please tell your loved ones, tell all your friends, tell them that something big, something great, something massive is about to happen in Takrade on 27th of March 2025. We'll get you all the details as and when we are the dates gets closer. We'll give you all the information that you are looking for. But we've shared also the flyer on our WhatsApp platform and on all our social media handles. If you are not there and you are interested to join our WhatsApp platform whilst the discussion is going on, please feel free, drop your contact or your WhatsApp number. We would get in touch with you and then add you to the platform. You can call 0244 629245, 0244 or 059140 and then we will be there to help you. We'll give you the link so you can join the platform. A lot of learnings go on the platform after every Sunday. I mean 24/7. If you have any question, you want to add on to anything, just put it there and you get people sharing with you their experiences from what of what you have put there. So please feel free and then drop your or reach out to us. We would help you join the platform. Okay, let's get to business. I know you are ready, and I am ready as well. Today we have a special guest, and I wish I could be given a whole day to speak about our guest today because I have worked very closely with her, and she's the reason why we bring your way SEDAT HR Digest every Sunday. Today, my guest is the CEO of SEDAT Consult Ltd. We call her Boss Lady. She will be here to help us talk about our topic or help us discuss our topic for today, harnessing emotional intelligence for effective HR management. Madam Patricia Abena Kissi, I want to add Abena because she can refuse not to talk if you don't add the Abena to it. Please, I want her to talk. So our guest today is Madam Patricia Abena Kissi, and she is an experienced human resource management consultant, a personal and career development coach, an inspirational speaker, and an author. She holds a master's degree in human resource development from the University of Cape Coast and a bachelor's degree in education foundations from the same university. Patricia has over 14 years of experience in human resource consultancy and general HR practice, and that is why when you come to SEDAT Consult, you don't have to expect anything less than standard, the best, exceptional services, because the one who is leading has got all that it takes to help you give your organization the best. She's experienced or her experience and expertise are in the areas of recruitment, training and development, staff outsourcing, job analysis and evaluation, salary and compensation, benchmarking, people management and development, performance management, and general advisory services. Help me, ladies and gentlemen, today to welcome into the studios our guest for today, the CEO of SEDAT Consult Limited. The reason we bring your way SEDAT HR Digest every Sunday is because of this beautiful and amazing woman you see here. Auntie Pat, boss lady, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Patience. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on your show. Thank you.
Thank you for sponsoring us. Without your sponsorship, I doubt if we could be bringing SEDAT HR Digest to our viewers. And so we are very grateful. Keep supporting us. Keep giving us all the goodies you give us because it's really helping. And before we even start, on behalf of all the team, we want to say a very big thank you. You've been an exceptional leader. I mean, I just don't know how to say it. Maybe I shouldn't have been the one to
I
host this
appreciate
show.
you. Thank
But
you so
thank you. Today
much.
we are looking at harnessing emotional intelligence for effective HR management. And I mean you are a whole definition of emotional intelligence. And so I know that as for today, it's going to be fire for fire, and our audience are ready for us. Please, once again, feel free to drop in your name and then your where you are watching us from in the comment section. We'll be reading and then we'll be giving you a shout. I want to specially welcome you. December is a special month, and so throughout December we want you to feel, I mean, we always make you feel special, but this one I want you to feel extra special, especially today that our CEO is our guest. All right. So, but let's move on. How would you define, or how, from your perspective, do you define emotional intelligence, and how is it important in the practice of human resource management?
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Patience. And thank you, everyone who has joined the call. Thank you for having me. Before I answer your question, full disclosure, em- emotional intelligence is a skill and you improve on it every day. So you are always learning to improve on it. So I would say that when it comes to emotional intelligence, I am there. Like Paul said, we are it's a journey. So we are all moving on that journey. We are learning every day to be more emotionally intelligent. And so that is it. Now for me, and I borrow this from somebody said the forefather of emotional intelligence, Daniel Goleman, who said that emotional intelligence is the ability to, first of all, recognize your own emotions and then understanding your emotions, managing your emotions, then understanding and managing the emotions of other people around you. So you first of all recognize what emotions you are feeling, you understand what it is, and then you manage it. And not only your own emotions, but also the emotions of the people you interact with, the people you work with, the people you live with, the people around you, understanding their own emotions and then influencing how you relate to them as far as their emotions are concerned. But I think it's important that we understand emotional intelligence in all its components. And so, Pat, if you permit me, just briefly, let's look at the various, because I'm not assuming that everybody on this call truly understand what emotional intelligence is. So let's understand what makes up the emotional intelligence, because I'm sure you might have heard emotional intelligence, you might have even read about it, or you attended a training program and all that. So take it as a refresher course for all of us. And like I said from the beginning, emotional intelligence is a skill that you keep learning and improving on. It's just like the muscle. We keep working on it and working on it and you're building it up, right? So still, according to Daniel Goleman, we have the five main components of emotional intelligence. And the first one is self-awareness. And Daniel Goleman makes us understand that self-awareness is, first of all, you understanding of recognizing your own emotions, your strengths, your weaknesses, what drives you, what makes you behave the way you behave. You just take cognizance of these emotions. Then you make time to understand. You become aware of your emotions. What makes you take? What makes you angry? What makes you stressed? What makes you speak harshly? What is it that makes you do the things that you do, behave the way you behave? That is the first step. You get to understand who you are. Man, know thyself, as Socrates will say. Man, know thyself. So you take time to understand who you are, your emotions, your weaknesses, your strengths, your abilities, and everything else. That is the first component, self-awareness. You become aware of who you are, so to speak. Then the second component is self-regulation. Once you have understood who you are, you have come to appreciate your own emotions. You have come to understand what it is that makes you behave the way you behave. The second component is you managing that emotion such that you are able to respond to situations by measuring your response. So now I understand that, for example, when they say a hungry man is an angry man, right? You know that when you are hungry, you become angry, then you tell yourself, okay, now I think I'm hungry. So I should be careful. Either you find food to eat to manage that emotion, or You tell yourself that, okay, now that I'm hungry, let me not speak so much, or let me not interact with somebody so much. Let me make sure that whoever I'm talking with or dealing with, I don't transfer that to the person. So the first thing is for you first understand, then knowing that you are managing your emotions. Said that before you act, you think, and that you don't transfer, you manage your responses or your behavior because of that emotion you are feeling at the moment. I see my boss, Abubakar Kwame Suman. Yeah, he's a guru when it comes to emotional intelligence. And once he was facilitating a session, and he said, for him, Monday mornings are not his good days. So if you come to him on Monday morning and you are not well prepared, you may leave his office crying. So in order to manage that, he decided not to fix meetings on Mondays, staff meetings on Mondays. All right. So this is how you regulate yourself. You understand your emotions and you regulate it. So that is the second component. I'm sure as the conversation goes on, we'll talk more about it. Then we look at the third component, which is motivation. Now, motivation is what drives you, what makes you do what you do. It's like a purpose driven life. You are committed to this cause because you are intrinsically motivated. You're not doing this because of the salary or the pay or because of somebody rewarding you, but you are doing it because it drives you, it makes you happy because there's a purpose to which and you achieve it. And that is the motivation. Then we look at the empathy, which also has to do with how you understand, appreciate people from their perspective. You may not agree with them, but you understand where they are coming from. So you appreciating the perspectives of other people, and like you usually say, putting yourself in the shoes of the person and understanding where the person is coming from. That is also an important component of emotional intelligence. And then we look at social skills, which is how you relate to people. How do you relate to people? How do you form relationships? How do you network with people? How do you manage the relationship you have with other people, all the people around you? So these are the five components of emotional intelligence, and it's very important that we all strive to build and develop these skills. So for me, I think at this point, that is where I will end and say that is our ability to understand our emotions, and then also manage the emotions, and also how our emotions affect others, and managing that relationship as well. That is what emotional intelligence is all about.
Right, thank you, Madam Patricia. Insightful discussion here. If you just join us, that's a SEDAT HR Digest. We are looking at harnessing emotional intelligence for effective HR management, and we have just heard Madam Patricia Abena Kissi tell us what emotional intelligence is, the dimensions or the five dimensions in emotional intelligence. And I love one thing that she said, that it is your ability to recognize, manage your emotion, and your ability to also recognize and manage the emotions of others, which is very, very important. But let me come to you, Madam Pat. What role does emotional intelligence play in creating a positive organizational culture?
Right. Okay, so it's important. Let me say this. Why is even emotional intelligence important or critical for HR practitioners like yourself, like myself? And I think, as HR people, we manage relationships, we foster relationships, we collaborate with line managers, we actually we play a critical role in the growth of the business. And so, how does emotional intelligence help create that environment, that culture that fosters growth, that fosters productivity? Now, if you have leaders who are emotionally unintelligent, see all not able to control their emotions. I know that sometimes some of the things that the people we manage do, it gets on our nerves. But the moment you are able to manage it such that you keep your cool, you maintain a relationship with all the people you work with, and you ensure that the environment is not toxic, then it creates a positive work culture where employees feel loved, they feel valued, they feel cared for, they feel that they are human beings, and they understand that it's not a servant master relationship. You know, sometimes we create the impression that people who are working with us or for us are doing us a favor, and that like we are doing them a favor. But we forget that it's a relationship. They also bring something to the table. They bring their skills, their time, their resources, their abilities to the table, much as you are paying them. So we recognize a relationship. So emotionally intelligent leaders and HR leading that team ensures that people are cared for, they are valued, their opinions are heard, there's open communication. And when it happens like that, it creates a positive work environment. The reverse is also true. When employees are not valued, when they are not appreciated, when they are spoken to anyhow, and sometimes you see leaders even to the point of insulting their team members, shouting at them, forgetting that they may be the head of their families, they be somebody's mother or father or uncle, somebody's, so they are big men in their own right. But when they come to work for you or with you, it doesn't make them any less a human being. So those who are emotionally intelligent understand this and make sure that they create that positive environment and ensure that everybody feels important, feels valued. So if you talk about the impact of emotional intelligence on organizational culture, what I would say is that it creates a positive work environment where people feel valued, where there's open communication, when conflicts happen, because they will happen, but they are resolved in such a way that it doesn't leave people, tattered and still on the ground, but they get up and they get going.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. Antipat, it creates a positive work environment. And I love one thing that you said, that the fact that people are working for us doesn't make them less of humans. And so if you are an HR leader over there, or you manage a small team in your organization, remember that the people that report to you are parents elsewhere. They are people's big sisters and big brothers, and they are bosses outside the office. All we are trying to communicate is, I mean, let's show the people we work with some respect, and not to talk to them as if they don't know they are left from there. You engage them because they were qualified to do the work you wanted them to do. So
Yeah.
yes, correction must be done, but it must be done professionally and respectfully. Thank you, Auntie. But let me come to this interesting topic, and I know somebody is out there is thinking about this. Is or can emotional intelligence, can it be learned, or it is something that comes natural to people?
Right, indeed, this is an interesting question. And it takes me back to the debate on whether leaders are born or made,
Leaders are born or made.
which is an age long debate that will never end. So the question now is, are people born emotionally intelligent or emotionally unintelligent? That is the question, to put it in another way. Well, it's yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, because there are people who naturally would exhibit or find it easier to demonstrate some of the components of emotional intelligence, as we spoke about self-awareness, we spoke about self-regulation, we spoke about motivation, we spoke about empathy, and then we spoke about social skills. So, for example, if I'm using the four temperaments to answer your question, I would say that yes, because for people who are, let's say, sanguine, those who are outgoing, those who make friends easily, for them, demonstrating social skills comes to them a bit easier than somebody who is not a sanguine. So they're able to make friends easily. And so, in terms of the social skills, they are more predisposed to demonstrate the social skills. But don't forget that emotional intelligence is not all about social skills. There is self awareness, self regulation, and all the others that we've spoken about. Now, for somebody who is, let's say, phlegmatic, that person naturally will be able to demonstrate self regulation better because these are people who are naturally calm. They don't talk much. There are those that you slap them, they will turn the other cheek for you. So they are very calm. They are peacemakers. They don't really like trouble. So such a person can demonstrate self regulation easier, or more will be more predisposed to demonstrate that. Now for the melancholic, these people are the perfectionists, perfectionists. So they are able to think through things very well before they take any decision. So for them, self-regulation is also something that they are able to do before they decide to do something. They've really thought about it. And so sometimes they tend to demonstrate that. The cholerics are people who are driven internally. They have the motivation to achieve. So they say the cause, but you are laughing. Maybe you are choleric, right? But when it comes to managing the emotions, is a weakness. So that answers the yes. No, people are not born emotionally intelligent because it's a skill. And just like any other skill, you can learn it. You can learn it. So even if you are social, because of your temperament, you're able to make friends easily. What about empathy? What about self-regulation? What about self-awareness? What about motivation? Right. So that is what I would say. It's a skill that can be learned, which means that you're not necessarily born with it. You can improve on it and become better with time, but it's a continuous process. It's not an event, it's a process. And yes, because there are people based on their temperament, they're able to demonstrate easier some of the components of emotional intelligence. But altogether, everybody needs to improve on their emotional intelligence skills. I hope that answers the question.
Right. Yes, I think it gave a very good explanation to those who feel it can be learned, and those who think that it's like you need to be born with. And I mean, from the explanation you gave, even gave it made it clearer to me that sometimes your personality trait helps you to exhibit or demonstrate emotional intelligence depending on which of the components within emotional intelligence you are looking at. But like you said, if you're a sanguine, you can socially network or easily go along with people and manage people or have social friends, make friends and all that. What about the other components? What about self-awareness? What about self-regulation? And so it's very clear, because if you don't have the other components, you can learn it to help you
Yeah.
to become better. So that is very, very clear. Let me ask this last question, and then we'll go for a quick break. And then when we come back, we'll continue with our discussion. How does emotional intelligence influence HR's decisions such as recruitment, talent management, conflict resolution, performance management, or performance discussions and all that? How does it influence us?
Right. Indeed. When you take recruitment, for example, if you are emotionally intelligent or you have high levels of emotional intelligence at the point of recruitment, let's take the interview, for example. When the person comes, You are looking at the person in total. So you are assessing the person based on what he or she is telling you that she has in terms of the competencies, in terms of the skills, in terms of what they stand for. And as they are talking, you're also assessing them. You're looking at the body language. You are trying to understand where they are coming from. You are looking at their emotions. You are trying to appreciate where they are coming from. And so you now get a total picture of the person compared to somebody who is not that high in terms of emotional intelligence. The person will just consider, oh, this person is good. She can do the job. But the emotional intelligent person will say, yes, the person can do the job. But beyond that, can the person fit our culture? What the person demonstrated in terms of values? I'm looking at the person, body language. What is the person telling me? Is it somebody that can really fit into the culture of the organization or not? And when you look at even in terms of performance management, for example, if somebody is emotionally intelligent, you look at the person and say, okay, we are very objective. Yes, I may not be your friend. I know in sometimes there was this that was going on social media that you may not necessarily have to have friends at the workplace, right? You are just doing your job. Do your job and go. Your boss is not your friend. You know, it was making the rounds in social media. And some people were saying that no, some were saying, right, yes, that is it. But you see,
Yeah.
it all depends on how emotionally intelligent you are. You can navigate some of these things without really burning bridges because you understand that people work together to achieve a common goal. So, in terms of managing your performance, you are very objective. If you're emotionally intelligent, you don't look at faces, you don't punish people because you send them to buy cocoa and they didn't go. So, you say that at the end of year appraisal, I will show you that I am the boss. Somebody who is emotionally intelligent will not do that. Will make sure that yes, the person may have hmm, hurt you in one way or the other, but you don't hold grudges because you understand there's a relationship you've built up. And when it comes to, I think you mentioned talent management, you mentioned recruitment, performance management. So let me say generally, if you are an HR person, right, and you're emotionally intelligent, you know that you have to forge relationship, especially with line managers. You know how sometimes HR managers, we are finding it difficult to get the line managers to be on our side. Sometimes you have to ask yourself whether you are able to build that important relationship with them such that you can, because they are managing the core of the staff. That is why before it gets to HR, there are the people who are managing them, they are there. So the team members, the leads, they're all there managing they report to your line managers. How do you relate to the line managers? To make sure that that environment is created where they know that even at their department they are managing people, and so the policies that you want to be implemented, right, they are the people who will enforce the policies. The policy that you want to implement, they are the people. That is when if the relationship is not well managed, you know what happens when the policy is there, they'll say, this one is HR policy. So they are waiting for HR to come and then implement the policies, but that is not how it works. You work through the line managers. So if you're not able to build that kind of relationship with line managers, it will be very difficult for you even to make sure that management is really happening as it should. Because you know that the line managers are supposed to set goals with their team members and all that. But if you don't manage that relationship with them very well, they will leave it for you to come and set the goal for them. But you are not the person working with them directly. So it's going to be a challenge. So, yes, emotional intelligence is very critical for all aspects of human resource management, from hiring to firing. It's very important. Managing the relationship between among the line managers, for me, is a very critical aspect of it. And I hear a lot of HR people lamenting about the fact that the line managers are not supporting them, especially the finance managers. It's always a challenge. HR and finance, as if we are in some kind of battle. If I want to stretch it, I would say a war. It all depends on how we manage the relationship with them. Yes.
Right. Thank you very much, Madam Patricia Abena. Emphasis on the Abena. Abena Kissi.
My boss is here. My boss is here. My boss will say that if you mention his name and you don't add Kwame, it's not him. Me too. If you don't mention Abena, it's not me.
Thank you so much. I mean, interesting and insightful conversation here. We'll be going for a quick break. When we come back, we will continue our discussion on harnessing emotional intelligence for effective HR management. And our guest is the CEO of SEDAT Consult. Hello, welcome back. Wherever you are, I want to say you're welcome. And if you just joined us, this is SEDAT HR Digest. Today we are talking about harnessing emotional intelligence for an effective HR management. And my resource person is the CEO of SEDAT Consult, Madam Abena Patricia Abena Kissi. Yes, Patricia Abena Kissi. That is very important for me. If you know, you know. So it is very important for me. And we've looked at what emotional intelligence is. We've looked at the components of emotional intelligence. We've also discussed whether emotional intelligence should be taught or it can be learned. And then we've looked at how emotional intelligence influences HR leaders in executing the end-to-end functions of the HR of their HR practice. Now, before we went for break, I mean, our resource person was sharing with us what generally emotional intelligence can do for us as HR people. And one thing that came to my antipart is the fact that sometimes people come to sit in front of you, you are interviewing them, you ask a question, and the response they give you, if you are not careful, you are not emotionally intelligent, you will tell them your mind, and I mean, but you need to be emotionally intelligent to be able to um welcome all these things. I remember one interview, somebody came, sat down, and the whole of the person's upper body was on their decks like this. Somebody was doing like this, and you are sitting there. You need to understand where they are coming from, and help them to be professional at that point. If you are not emotionally intelligent, you tell them that the interview is okay, you won't do again. So this is a very important topic we are looking at. A skill, it's a must-have skills for every leader and every HR person. Once again, I want to remind you of the biggest event that is about to hit the town, the Takrade Township. The biggest thing ever. Something big, something super, something massive. Charlie, if you don't come, I feel like speaking fancy right now. As a sambe, in other words, if you don't come, Charlie, you do yourself. You do yourself. SEDAT HR conference. We are coming to Tardy big time. This time we are coming big. We are coming mega. We've had 2 episodes or 2 editions in Kumasi, and this time we are coming to Takrade. We are coming to my town. You understand? We are coming home. What's I do with you? We are bringing SEDAT HR conference to you in Takrade. If you live in and around the Takrade Township or Western region, on 27th of March 2025, this is the place for you to be. We'll be looking at from policy to practice, integrating employee well-being into HR management for a motivated and highly productive workforce. You don't want to miss this. We are bringing your way experts who will help you to understand the topic. If you have had an experience with our Kumasi edition, you will know that what we are saying, we are not just bragging, we are bringing you. This is conference, you understand? If you want to talk about conference, this is conference, and it will be happening at Takrade Serene Atlantic Hotel. Please call us on 0244629245, 0244629245, or 059140555, 059140555. This is the line to call, and we will give you all the information. Very soon we'll be sharing the registration link so you can start registering. It is happening on 27th of March in Takrade. Tadi for everybody. Now let me go to the comment section. I've seen some few comments here. Okay, so Rachel says she's what? Okay, Rachel says thank you, Mrs. I've had a lot of you drop your name in the comment section, but unfortunately my internet was bad, so I've missed the earlier names that were posted. But I remember I saw Salamat and then some few people. Thank you so much. And my boss's boss is here. My boss's boss is here. Abubakar Kwame Esuman. He is my boss's boss. So your boss's boss is, so my grand boss is here. Thank you so much, Mr. Suma. We are happy to have you here. It's always a pleasure to have you. And we know that you are with us. You've already let us know. It says great presentation, Tricia. You are doing justice to the topic. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for training my boss for me, my boss's boss. Right. So Antipat, let's go move on with our conversation. Now let's look at the potential risk of relying too heavily on emotional intelligence in leadership decision making. And how can this be mitigated? Well, what's the potential risk in relying heavily on emotional intelligence in leadership decision making? How can we mitigate this?
Right. We are preaching emotional intelligence. So we are thinking, what could be wrong with emotional intelligence? I mean, for all the beautiful things we have said about emotional intelligence, that we know that it's a must-have skill, like you put it. It's very important for every person, whether you hold a title or you don't hold a title, whether you lead a large corporation or a small corporation, or even lead yourself. It's very important for everyone, and we have established that clearly. That's important for all of us to have, and it's a skill that we can learn and improve on. So, what could be wrong with emotional intelligence, right? But
Yeah.
like the coin is always two sides. So if they say too much of everything is bad, yes, you need to have strong and high levels of emotional intelligence, but you also have to be mindful so that you don't become too emotionally involved with people, that you are not objective in your leadership. So for example, okay, because and this one, I was having a conversation with the amazing leaders of Vortic some time back on emotional intelligence. And one of the questions that came up, okay, you say we should put ourselves in the shoes of individual, we should empathize with them. So does it mean that if the person comes to work late and the policy says punish the person because you are putting yourself in the shoes of the person, doesn't mean you have to let the person go. You don't punish the person. You don't apply the policy because you are putting yourself in the person's shoes. And I thought that was a very relevant question. And my response was simple. Putting yourself in the person's shoe doesn't mean set the policies aside. It only means explain to them, understand where they are coming from. Okay, I overslept. That is why I didn't come to work early. I overslept, so I came to work late. If the policy says fire the person, for the sake of the discussion, I mean, most policy will not say that. Maybe a verbal warning for first time, and then maybe when it continues, then the policy may say a query and stuff like that. So, for example, if it's a verbal warning, that is a for, let's say the person is a first time offender, it's a verbal warning. Then you understand that sometimes you also oversleep. And so you put yourself in the shoes of the person. What if I was the one that overslept and I came to work late? What should happen to me? But much as you appreciate the person, you are understanding the person because you are saying that, okay, look, I know how it feels. I understand. But then you should explain to the person clearly that this has been set so that we can all manage and make sure that we are doing the right things. So I appreciate you, but it is important that we apply the policy. But what I will say is this: next time, please try and set the alarm. And if, for example, your alarm may not wake you up, are you living with somebody that can help you? You are not sparing the person, but you're also helping the person so that it doesn't happen a second time where the person now gets a query that will be on the person's file, and the person will not have a clean slate. That is one. If it comes to, for example, promotion at the workplace, if you are too emotionally intelligent, you are just so emotionally attached to somebody that you know that this person doesn't deserve this promotion. There's another person that you are not too attached with that deserves that promotion. But because you are practicing emotional intelligence, you are giving it to the person that you are so tight with, but doesn't really qualify for that role. Then you are overdoing it. They call it kweku overdo. You are overdoing that. It means that you are not applying the principles it should be applied. Or, for example, you know that this person is not pulling their weight, they're not performing. But because you are putting yourself in the person's shoes, you are practicing emotional intelligence, you overlook the fact that they are not performing and say, okay, they deserve a C, but I will not give them a C because a C means that they are going home. And the person has a wife, the person has 4 children. Okofia there no kodi, so then you are so empathetic that you let it slide. That is not it. You should make sure that the policies are working. You are objective in your management of people, even though you are practicing emotional intelligence. And this is very important for all of us, managers, leaders, and all that. You don't show favoritism because you are, in terms of the connection, able to relate to somebody more than the other person. So you put the other person at a disadvantage. That is not the mark of an emotionally intelligent person. That means that you are really not being emotionally intelligent. The other thing is also, and I'll give an example here. Sometimes some of a report came to me that some of our staff are not really performing as they should, and then the person in charge said, "Okay, then bring a report. What is happening? What is the A, B, C, D things that they are not doing right, so that we can see how we can improve on it." And they are not reporting. The reason is simple: they don't want the people to lose their jobs. That is not practicing emotional intelligence. So I'm saying that emotional intelligence doesn't mean that set aside the policies. It doesn't mean that be subjective rather than objective. It doesn't mean that show favoritism. Yes, connect with people, understand them, empathize with them, and all that, but make sure that you're objective. Make sure that the policies are implemented. Don't put emotion over data.
Mm. Please, can you repeat that one for me?
Right.
I
So
love it. It's a punchline.
it is. Don't put emotions over data, because the figures are there. It's showing clearly. And because you're empathizing with the person, you are saying that no, I would rather go with the narrative. I would rather go with what I'm feeling. I'd rather go with what I'm thinking, not what the data is saying. That is not practicing emotional intelligence. I hope yes, Pat. I hope you got that.
Yes, we did. We did. And I'm very happy that you said we shouldn't put emotions above data. HR people, we like feeling. We like feel. I feel. It's good to feel, but the greater part is let the numbers do the talking for you. All right. Thank you so much, Auntie Pat. We are really enjoying. We have some interesting, amazing comments in our comment section. Ellen says, HR and finance, it's a big war.
I
This
tell you.
war, unless, but amazingly, I haven't had, I've, I've never experienced those wars before with my finance people. We are always the best of
Good for
friends.
you.
Every
Good for
organization
you.
I've worked, finance managers are my best friends. So probably you would want to make them your friends so you can have your way around them. All right. So I'm looking for a day where I want to also experience the war, and then who say I can come and speak your language some, but I mean generally it's a big war, and I agree. Generally, it's a big war. All right, so we
But
have Joyce.
you know what they say. What they say. Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer, right? So, I mean, make sure that you are friends with the finance person, because you need him, whether you like it or not. You need him. So, HR people, let's stop
Exactly.
this war and make sure that our HR, our finance friends are indeed our friends, because we work together,
Sometimes
right?
they can be annoying, but you just have to be emotionally intelligent and handle them.
Exactly.
That one I agree.
Manage
Sometimes they
the
can be
emotion.
very annoying, especially when they are closing their books. I hope my finance manager is not watching me, but sometimes they can really be annoying. Oh my, right. So Joyce Owusu says she's joining us from Koforidua. Thank you very much, Joyce. We are happy to have you. Yes. Salamat says, thank you, madam. I'm really enjoying our conversation. Thank you, Salamat. I think one of these days we'll put Madam Patricia on our flyer as a conference speaker. She will not be the convener of the conference. I will wear that shoe and we'll put her on the flyer as a speaker. I'm really enjoying it too. Um, right, so Salamat comes to repeat, don't put emotion over data. That is very true. We have Evelyn. Evelyn says that please, we need the skill in, please,
Who
who
needs
needs the skill? Yes, who needs the skill of emotional intelligence? I guess that's what she wants to write. Is it only the HR or managers and CEO? I have the answer, but I'll leave Madam Patricia to answer it for you. Um,
No,
and then
everyone. I mean, every leader. I think I said it, that even if you are leading a large corporation, or you're leading just a small team, or you're leading yourself, everyone needs emotional intelligence. Even
yeah,
relationship with between spouses, and you see, emotional intelligence gets tested the more at that front. Everybody who is married will tell me that, will agree with me, that it gets tested even the more at that front. And those who
mm,
drive, okay, those who drive, your emotional intelligence is tested when the driver crosses you wrongly and all that. The kind of shouting and the talking and the responses that we give, sometimes you forget yourself that you're even a pastor, and you just, by the time you realize, the word has gone out there. And so my dear Evelyn, it's for everyone. And you see, sometimes there's a tendency to point fingers when the fall four other fingers are pointing at us. So I'm sorry we're having a conversation, and I'm not talking about Evelyn. Somebody may say that this my boss needs to hear this message. You know, this my CEO needs to hear this message. This my supervisor needs to hear this message. It's for all of us, whether you lead a small team or a big team, whether you lead yourself alone or not, everyone. So, my dear, it's for all of us. You as the HR manager, you as the HR officer, you as an employee with no title, you as the CEO of a corporation or a small business, you as the manager managing the people, every one of us needs to develop this skill of emotional intelligence. It's for every one of us.
It's for every one of us. As long as we
And as I
interact with
said,
people, we need
well,
it.
sorry, Pat, not to cut you. One thing we must understand that it is a process.
Mm,
So don't just be disappointed that you are trying and it's not working out. You know, maybe before we go, Pat, with your permission, I would like to share a few tips on how to develop emotional intelligence. I think it will help us a lot.
sure.
But let's understand that it's a process. It's just like the muscle. You keep working it out. You keep building it one step at a time and in order. But by all means, commit to it and make sure that you are developing, because it's key for every one of us.
Right. Thank you very much. Is key. Okay, so let me go to the comments. We have today. I don't know who to give the most interactive interactive participants. So it looks like everybody is okay. So today's when we finish, I'll definitely announce who the person is. Okay, so I have a question. So this, so Georges says, how can organizations measure the ROI of implementing emotional intelligence training program? So, for instance, they've trained people on emotional intelligence and they want to see how they can measure it. How can organizations do that? Let me go through and see if there's any other question that we can add to Judge's question. Okay, so Stephanie says this session is informative. Nanaya Mankwa says very enlightening. Um, Okay, Evelyn says yes. They need to hear managers and the CEOs who are not here listening to us. They need to hear. I agree with you, Evelyn. We'll share the link. We'll share the link to them. We'll forward it to them to also listen. This one, you're not the one saying it. It's Madam Patricia that is saying it. So we share the link. Right. So I think Evelyn is responding to your request to share the tips on how to um the steps on becoming emotionally intelligent. And then right, so Nanaya Kante said EI is built over time, and that is very true. Our guests have said it a number of times. It's not something that happens overnight. It's a process. It starts gradually, and then you'll be building on it and be developing on it. But back to the question that we have in the comment section: how do we measure um, ROI on emotional intelligence training program?
Right. Thank you very much. I think the first thing is for you to even do the training at all. I understand that we some organizations still don't get it all, or some leaders still don't understand that training your managers, training even the entire team on emotional intelligence is very important, because indeed it is. So if you're an HR manager here or a CEO or a manager, put it on your training calendar if you've not done that already, that next day you are going to train your people on emotional intelligence. And one of the training programs we run, we've done it a couple of times, not publicly but for organizations, is emotional intelligence. So we actually run that training program. But how do you measure the return on investment? First of all, how have you, before the training, how were things going? Then after the training. So that is why for us, we do the before and then after. Because when you know that, okay, before this training, maybe the environment that it was so toxic that people were leaving us left, right, and center. You know what they say? People leave their managers, they leave their bosses, not the organization. And most of the time, people leave because their leaders are not emotionally intelligent enough to manage a relationship very well. And so, if you see that most people are leaving their bosses, then you see that the environment is toxic. So, for example, within a year, or you have 7 people leaving and all that, you should be able to question what is happening, especially if it's the same team members, the the same team leader who is losing team members. Then it means that is an issue. So once you have done that, then you find out, okay, after the training, how are we faring in terms of attrition? How are we faring in terms of managing the relationship? How are we faring in terms of conflict management? Don't forget that conflict always will happen, but it's how you manage the conflict. So if the leaders have high levels of emotion, or they have been trained on emotional intelligence, which will also include how they can manage conflicts and all that, you realize that it becomes very easy for them to manage the conflict, manage the relationship. It's also, you get an environment where people are now able to give up their best because they feel they matter. They feel valued. They feel that they are contributing to something. And you, the leader, you are recognizing that they are contributing, and you are rewarding them. Sometimes not just giving them money, but a pat on the back, telling them well done, opening during one of your meetings, and appreciating them is enough. Okay, so I think these are some of the things that you can. I can't actually put a figure because then I'll have to do before and after to get to know what it is. But if you see that some of these things before you did a training, you were seeing some of these things, and after the training there's an improvement, then you know that you are getting returns on your investment. Because remember, when people are leaving you, apart from the fact that you spend time and money to recruit new people, it also reflects on the image of the business, and credibility is key in this age and time. And if it happens like that, it means that you are not attracting top talent because they see organization as toxic. Look, there have been instances where, recruitment is one of the things that we do. There have been instances where we've contacted good candidates for clients, but immediately we mention the name of the company, they pull back and say, Patricia, I'm no longer interested. For this company, I'm not interested. If any other company, please put my name out there. But for this very company, I'm not interested. And you ask yourself why. Sometimes I push them to get to understand why. And what they tell me is amazing. It's all because the environment is toxic and people are not valued. So it's a cost to the company. You're losing talent that you could have had to push your business forward just because you are tolerating emotional unintelligence.
Right, right. Amazing, super. Right, so let me go. Salamat says, Madam has answered all my questions. We are happy to hear this, Salamat. Mr. Abubakar, please add a Kwame to it too. You see the way I kept stressing Abena. I know where it is coming from. Please, I'll add it for you, Salamat. You know you're my good friend. I'll add it to you for it for you. So, Mr. Abubakar Kwame Esuman, you really did a good job on our madam. And I mean,
Yes, he did.
I
He
always
did.
say that your success as a leader is when the people you train do well or are also successful. It completes
Yeah.
you as it's as is the icing on the cake for you as a leader. And I think at this moment, Mr. Abubakar is really clapping for Madam Patricia at home. Please, we'll chat you back door. We are coming for well done malt from you, but amazing discussion. I would have ended the session or this episode here, but I am going to grant my sponsors' request because I want to bring HR Digest your way next week. And so I'm going to grant a request to share with us the tips, some of the tips, not everything. Maybe we'll run a general workshop or webinar on emotional intelligence that you can come and learn more. But she can just share. But apart, please don't share everything. I know they will come and beat me, but don't share everything. You share
Yes.
some, not all, so that they will come for the training. Otherwise, they won't come or they won't invite you. But that is just on a
You know,
lighter bit. That's
yeah.
just on a lighter bit. So, Madam Patricia, you have the floor. Walk us through the steps. That's or some of
Okay,
the things we can do.
let me share a few tips with you. First of all,
Okay.
you have to build emotional intelligence. You first need to understand where you are at the moment. So you need to you practice self-reflection. Just take a moment and then have a conversation with yourself and take note of some of the behaviors and the emotions that you display. So, for example, and it's important that you write them down. So, at the, when if you are really into this, when you close from work, you go back home and then you are thinking through the how the day went. Sometimes you ask some of the questions and you pick some of the responses. This one I could have done it this way. This and I could have said it this way. It could have been better if I did it this way or that way. We all have that reflection, but this time you are being intentional about it. You are making time to reflect on your emotions, what makes you sad, what makes you happy, what makes you stressed out. If you get stressed out, what's the behavior that naturally follows as you are stressed out? When you get hungry, what is the behavior that naturally follows when you are hungry? So you take time to to
Some
note all these
people easily
down,
get annoyed when they are hungry.
because it helps you to understand your emotional state, to understand how you behave, right? When you are pushed to the wall, when you are stressed out, how you be. I, I'm laughing because Mr. Ubaka has put something there. Okay, so how you behave. So self-reflection
His
is important.
comment.
Make make time to sit back and reflect, and if possible, and I recommend this, write it down, take note of it. Then one other thing that you can do is to get honest feedback from the people that are close to you, the people that will give you honest feedback, not the people who will look at you and because they don't want to hurt you, they'll say, "Oh, you are okay, you are fine, everything is fine." No, no, not that kind of people. But the people who will look you in the face and say, "You did this wrong," So solicit for feedback from people and make sure that you get honest feedback. I remember one day, I just asked my daughter, 8 years, and I said, how am I doing as a parent? How am I doing as a mother? And
Hey, you
I
will
thought I
hear
was
things.
doing well, right? She said, "Do you want me to tell you the truth?" I said, "Yes. Tell me the truth." She said, "Okay. You know I love you." I said, "I know." She said, you shout, sometimes you shout too much. And you know that if you don't shout, I'll still hear you, right? I said, I said, okay, I shall, yes. So you say it, if you don't shout, I'll still hear you. So I said, okay, then you know what we'll do? We'll do a no shouting challenge. So for some time, but I tell you, I didn't think I won on that. So as for honest feedback, ask for honest feedback from the people who give you honest feedback, and work on that. Then remember what I call pause. So whenever there's a situation and you want to respond, re- deliberately pause for a second before you respond. If you do that, the tendency for you to be impulsive and respond and demonstrate the behavior that you will not be proud of will be minimized.
Yeah.
And so pause before you respond. So I would like you to practice that. Pause before you respond. And you pause, you take a breath, then you respond. And I'm not saying that these are easy things, because at the start of the moment you might feel like it's easy. But when you practice it, remember there was something I said at the start of the
But you
pause
are breaking. I don't know whether
and
it's
really
from my
also
end. I don't know whether it's from my end or it's from your end,
okay.
but I think we lost you at some point.
Okay, I think I was talking about the pause response, pause before you respond practice. So you pause before you respond. I'm saying that it's not as easy as I'm saying because naturally, when you are in the situation, the natural thing is for you to respond immediately, and that's the natural thing. But because you want to develop the emotional intelligence skills, you want to deliberately, intentionally pause before you respond, so that you be measured in the responses that you give. And I was saying that one marriage counselor said that if you're having an argument with your spouse, and it's usually the women, that's what they say, oh, you are talking plenty, the men put water in your mouth so that you don't respond back immediately. By the time you spill out the water, not 10% cool kakra. So I think that is why. Then maybe what I would say finally is point to something that will make you committed to a cause. So be purpose driven. Set a goal for yourself and work towards it. You know when you are busy pursuing something, you don't let trivial things, cross your path. You realize that you are going somewhere, you know where you are going, and so the potholes will not stop you. Even if it's manhole, it will still not stop you, right? So that is what I would say. Set a goal for yourself and pursue the goal. That way you are so focused that trivial things will not make you give up in life. So I think that is what I would say for now. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Right. Thank you very much, Madam Patricia Abena Kissi. Thank you so much. And Abubakar Kwame Suma says, I'm sitting here grinding from year to year. I want to be Trisha's student on this topic. I agree with you. In fact, you have
No,
two students
everything
already.
I know, I learned from him, and I'm still learning from him. So it only shows
But
that he's a great teacher.
this is amazing. This is beautiful. Isn't it beautiful that you train someone and the person is doing so well and you are still there providing support? And this is a good learning for those of us who are in the field. Please don't be selfish. Train your people. Be emotionally intelligent with them. I'm sure if Mr. Abubakar Kwame Suman was um, uh, treating Patricia anyhow, she won't even be mentioning his name everywhere she goes. But if you really speak to Patricia a lot, you can tell that within 1 hour, Abubakar's name will by all means, it will pass through
Definitely.
the process by all means. But this is amazing. Thank you so much, Madam Pat. It's been interesting and
No, but
insightful
Pat, you see,
having
I
you here.
appreciate I appreciate the fact that he gave me my first opportunity at practicing HR and even at practicing consulting. When I tried to migrate from teaching to HR, when you don't have any experience in that, but he interviewed me, he saw what was in me, and he said, "No, you have potential." So, and I'm grateful to him and to our boss, Mr. Adetola, who's the CEO of the Capital Group. Thank you very much for the.
Thank you. Thank you for seeing the gold that was sitting in front of you on that day. And thank you, Patricia, for sharing this nugget with us. We've really learned. I have enjoyed my conversation with you. It's good to have you on the other side. We'll keep putting you at the other side. It's very good having you there. And thank you so much for joining us today. This is SEDAT HR Digest, and our topic for today was harnessing emotional intelligence for effective HR management. And we were blessed to have Madam Patricia Abena Kissi, the CEO of SEDAT Consult, to be our guest and resource person today. We've had a very amazing time with her. But if you join us late, don't worry. SEDAT how we do it. We'll share the link, and at your free time within the week, you can go listen to the whole video again. We have a number of episodes on our social media platforms and handles. Go there, YouTube, they are there. Go and refresh your mind. It's been a very long year, and next week will be amazing. Don't miss next week. We are bringing your way something interesting, and I wouldn't want you to miss it. Once again, for those living in and around Takrady, we are coming your way with SEDAT HR conference. We are coming to Takrady Serene, Atlantic Hotel, yes, on 27th of March 2025. I will be coming there. Please, there's some fufu joint being Takade. I want to show Madam Patricia that joint, so I'll be coming.
Me,
But
I
let's
know,
meet.
I know, I know. You're not the one shaming me. I know.
Let's meet, let's network. Kumasi has been amazing with the conference, and I know Team Takrade, you are going to blow our mind. Let's come in our numbers. Let's come in our numbers. We'll be sharing the registration link so you could register. It will come out soon so that at least you can have enough time to plan for the conference. And thank you, Mr. Abubakar Kwame Isuman, one of our regular guests on SEDAT HR Digest. I can't wait to host you again. I can't wait. And um, we know next year we'll have an amazing time with you. Thank you, everyone. So today, who do I give the most participative viewer to? Okay, so I have two people I would want to give this to, Salamat and then Evelyn. Today we've seen your post a lot. You really commented. So Salamat and Evelyn, today you want most participative or the viewer or participative Fabra Foundation on Ayonko. Put the English there. Let's go. Uh, so we give it to you, Charlie. Thank you so much. You made the session so interactive. Next week, we'll be coming your way again with another interesting episode. Like I said, you don't want to miss it. Please share with your friends and your loved ones. Let them come on board and let's learn together. Have a good evening and we'll see you next week. Madam Patricia, thank you so much. We love you so much. From all the team, we are saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
My
This Christmas, we
pleasure.
are coming for Christmas party, so please prepare for us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, thank you, team. We'll
Bye,
see you
everyone.
next
Thank
week.
you for joining us. Bye.